England.
Beckham could raise the roof here with a goal. I don't believe it. David Beckham scores the goal to take England all the way to the World Cup finals.
One of the most frustrating international teams in history. Whether they play a different year, a different tournament, a different country, or even different players, one thing always remains the same, that being the result. For years, England have brought some of the most gifted teams to World Cups and the Euros, showcasing talents and specialists in every area of the field. Yet, even with the relentless backing from fans to go all the way, the overwhelming pressure always leads to the team not quite getting there. This pattern sound familiar? Well, that's because it is familiar, with England having just missed out on yet another Euros trophy, losing to a well-drilled and technical Spanish side. It is also of interest to note that no other country has ever been knocked out of the quarterfinals of a World Cup more times than England, a record 7 times to be exact. In just the last 4 tournaments alone, England have lost 2 European finals and reached the quarterfinals and semi-finals of the World Cup. Now, to uncover the real reason behind England's inability to win trophies, we need to start by looking back at the 2006 World Cup. Creating legendary teams isn't about the fame or the headlines, it's about achieving real success on the field. England, despite having some of the most talented footballers of their time, failed to live up to expectations, even with their so-called golden generation. The squad, featuring legends like Wayne Rooney, Steven Gerrard, Frank Lampard, and David Beckham, was expected to shine. They were considered the favourites in the 2006 World Cup, especially after their dominant 6-0 win over Jamaica in a friendly, which set the stage for high hopes. However, the reality was far from the hype. In the group stages, England struggled more than anticipated. Their opening match against Paraguay was a narrow 1-0 victory, followed by a last-minute win over Trinidad and Tobago, thanks to a goal from Peter Crouch and Steven Gerrard. The final group stage game ended in a 2-2 draw with Sweden. Despite qualifying for the knockout stages, the performance wasn't as convincing as everyone had hoped for. Off the pitch, the media frenzy around WAGs, wives and girlfriends of the players, shifted attention away from the team's performance. Victoria Beckham, Cheryl Cole, and Colleen Rooney became media darlings, their every move scrutinized and publicized. This media circus, coupled with various scandals, distracted from the team's focus. For instance, Colleen Rooney spent nearly £60,000 in a single shopping spree, while Abby Clancy's drug scandal added to the negative coverage. Back on the field, England faced Ecuador in the round of 16, securing a narrow 1-0 win with a David Beckham free kick. The quarter-final match against Portugal was highly anticipated. Portugal, although missing some key players like Deco due to suspension, still had stars like Luis Figo and a young Cristiano Ronaldo. Portugal had also knocked out England at the 2004 Euros, so there was a sense of redemption for the England squad. In the first half, the game was going nowhere, until Wayne Rooney, who seemed clearly frustrated, decided to stomp on Ricardo Carvalho. Cristiano Ronaldo, Rooney's Manchester United teammate, immediately jumped in front of the referee, pushing for Rooney's dismissal. This move earned Ronaldo plenty of criticism and sparked rumours about a fallout between him and Rooney. If you've enjoyed the video so far, subscribe for more similar content. Now, back to the video. With the match still locked at 0-0 as it reached the 120th minute, it went to a penalty shootout. Lampard, Gerrard and even Carragher all missed their chances, leaving Hargreaves as the only English player to score. Cristiano Ronaldo then had the opportunity to send Portugal to the semi-finals, effectively ending England's 2006 World Cup run. So what went wrong for this golden generation that seemed so destined for greatness? Internal friction played a significant role. There was a notable disconnect between players from different clubs, like those from Manchester United and Chelsea. Gerrard and Lampard, in particular, struggled to harmonise their playstyles, impacting team cohesion. The main difference was cleared when you compared the divided England squad to other international teams like Brazil, who were always excited for international games. This segregation would end up translating into performance-related issues, making every single England game feel more challenging than it actually needed to be.
And really around that time, we just kind of, our communication just disintegrated. And it was down to really, from my perspective, and Frank will give views after, but the obsession with winning. I didn't want to see Frank have an edge on me. I didn't want to speak to him about anything that he might be able to take away and use to facilitate his team winning, etc. And it just became an unwritten kind of conduct, really. It was the same with Stevie. When I was with England, Stevie, when we was battling for them for the Premier League, I didn't want to really sit around him and be around him because I just didn't want to hear what Liverpool was doing.
With these issues aside, there was still a more severe problem at the time: the manager. Sven-Göran Eriksson's management was questioned many times during his tenure. Despite having a wealth of midfield talent, Eriksson stuck to a rigid 4-4-2 formation that many felt didn't fully utilise England's potential. Further complicating matters, Eriksson's decision to include the likes of a young Theo Walcott, who didn't play a single minute while leaving out an informed Jermaine Defoe, raised some eyebrows. This decision, along with the immense pressure from the media, created a tense environment that hindered the team's performance. So why would I talk about this situation in a video that relates to the current problems the England squad are having? Well, this backdrop of internal conflict and managerial missteps offers parallels to England's current situation. With the 2024 Euros having concluded, similar criticisms have been levelled at Gareth Southgate.
Tactically, in the modern game, he ain't that. He's a good man manager, there is a role for him, but I don't think it's football management. But as a coach, as a manager that sets the team, picks the team, sets the tactics, no, just severely lacking.
Despite guiding England to a World Cup semi-final in 2018 and 2 Euro finals in 2021 and 2024, Southgate faced an absurd amount of scrutiny over his tactics and decisions. Gareth Southgate's first big test with England came at the 2018 World Cup in Russia. England had just come off a humiliating loss to Iceland in the 2016 Euros, and their 2014 World Cup performance wasn't any better. Remember the outrage when England was knocked out after just 2 games, while Germany hadn't even played their second match yet? Despite all of these setbacks, Southgate actually managed to get England to the semi-finals, a result that had fans rallying behind him. But then came the 2021 Euros. England reached the final. With Italy coming off a long unbeaten streak, expectations were high. However, the final didn't go as hoped. With the score tied, a young Saka had the weight of the world on his shoulders, but his penalty was saved by Italy's Gianluigi Donnarumma, handing Italy the trophy. Southgate faced a wave of criticism for his defensive approach and his choice of penalty takers, especially putting so much pressure on inexperienced younger players like Saka and Sancho. Though, England's most recent upset came at the Euro 2024. These underperformances simply can't be pinned on Gareth Southgate alone though. The core issue lies deeper, rooted in a lack of cohesive footballing identity and strategic direction. In the lead up to the Euro 2024, Southgate had England playing a 3-2-4-1 system, with a fluid and dynamic midfield involving players like Declan Rice, Jude Bellingham and Phil Foden. These players created overloads on one side of the pitch. This approach aimed to free up playmakers to combine and create chances, but it was poorly executed due to slow midfield circulation and inadequate movement of the ball. The tactical strategy fell apart during the tournament, particularly noticeable in the game against Slovakia. Southgate altered the system, positioning Bellingham and Foden in rigid half spaces, which disrupted the team's fluidity and made their attack less effective. This shift from a relational playstyle to a more rigid setup revealed a fundamental lack of consistency and adaptability in England's tactics. In contrast, successful teams like Germany and Spain have maintained clear and consistent tactical identities. Germany, under Julian Nagelsmann, employed a strategy of overloading between the lines and aggressive counter-pressing, while Spain has long adhered to a possession-based game with well-defined player roles. Even teams like Turkey and Switzerland have developed distinct styles and shared footballing languages, which England still lacks. This inconsistency in approach left England disjointed and underwhelming despite their talent. The team attempted the third most passes in the entire tournament, but ranked only 19 for expected goals, highlighting their inefficiency and lack of creativity. While England did make it to the final, they only relied on moments of individual brilliance. Their ongoing struggle points to a deeper need for a clear, unified footballing philosophy to truly compete with the best. And because of all this, Southgate has become one of football's most debated figures. Despite guiding England to some of the best results the country has ever had, he still faced criticism. This is particularly tough given that England is enjoying a second golden generation and the Premier League has risen to become the best league in the world. Fans expect results and feel that Southgate has squandered a golden opportunity. There's a fear that if this chance slips away, we might not see another generation as talented anytime soon. Southgate's tactics, often seen as overly defensive, haven't made the most of England's attacking potential. The underlying issue seems to be a lack of clear management and excessive media pressure, which sets unrealistic expectations and distorts the reality of England's footballing capabilities. Though, the light at the end of the tunnel seems to finally be there, as everyone's biggest worry, Gareth Southgate, is gone. England and Southgate have announced that he is stepping down as England manager, with the real reason why being unclear. One thing is for certain though, whoever takes his place not only has massive boots to fill, but also needs to be a manager not scared to pick certain profiles over fame and name. As of now, no real names have been circulating the media of a definite next England manager, but speculations say that former Chelsea and Brighton boss Graham Potter, England under-21 coach Lee Carsley, and Newcastle boss Eddie Howe are among the top contenders for the job. The future of the English national team is unclear, but the only real hope is that football does finally come back home. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe for similar content. Who would you like to see next? Let us know in the comments. Until next time, stay quixotic.